What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Nocturnal Welding Channel. I changed and fixed the drawbar in my Haas VF1 with the gearbox, and while I did it, I set up the camera just so you guys would have some information on doing it if you have to do your own. I couldn't find any video or anything on it, so that's why I just set up the camera while I did mine. This should provide you some good information. It was just me and ChatGPT all weekend. It was kind of scary, but we got it done and pretty cool. Towards the end, we had CNC Repairman help me out with a little spindle orientation, which was super cool of him. So, all right, let's get to the video of fixing this thing. All right, guys, so we got, I think this is like the exhaust valve. Got this disconnected. And then this is for the TRP for the release piston. Got this disconnected from there. And then we got a tool in it to hold the, I guess it holds the piston down. So that way it's not pushing up when we pull this out. So let's see, what else do we got to remove? Looks like this thing probably has to come out, and then we can undo these 4 bolts, and then we can, and then undo this little hose and slide it out. And then we can concentrate on this. Alright, TRP's loose. Let's just finish pulling these bolts out. I've never done this before, so I was worried it was going to like spring up. I don't know, who knows what's going to happen. But little magnetic trays are definitely key. And now I wrench. Okay, I thought it was stuck in there. Okay, get the other 2 out of here. Okay, TRP's coming out. We had to wiggle this out to get around that bolt. Just went left of it. I don't want to remove that thing because it probably has some crazy gap that needs to be perfect. So I'm just going to try to scoot it off to the side. Okay. All right, look at that drawbar. That's what we need to get to. And if we had a normal a machine without a gearbox, this could just come straight out. We wouldn't have all this in the way, and we'd be done. We'd be like bringing the tool out, hitting that out, and then we'd be good. But since this gearbox is in the way, we got to kind of lift this thing up to get it out of the way. It would have been cool if we could scoot it back, but this is a lot to scoot back. There's no way it's going to scoot back. So we're going to have to probably disconnect these air lines. I don't think those are going to go up high enough. A lot of this I'm going to try to leave connected if I can and just see how high up I can go. There's a retaining ring I guess we got to remove in here. And then once we get that retaining ring out, then the drawbar will come out. Right, tool release piston is out. We got the exhaust valve off it, and then this hose ran all the way over to here. Pulled that off, and then now we have to get this snap ring. I got it kind of up and out already. All right, let's see if we can get this thing out. Maybe we'll go with a flat blade first, and just try to work it, and try not to bend it. Maybe needle nose, I don't know. Oh, there it goes. Okay, needle nose was 100% the way to go. All right, there it is. We got it. All right, phone's gonna die. Luckily, we got this Haas little battery charger from IMTS. All right, so we got the ring out, and then we put the TRP back in, release the tool, and now we closed off the air valve, we turned off the machine, closed off the air valve. Now we're gonna pull the TRP back out, and then we should be able to, and then the drawbar will come out after we remove the motor. Okay, just wanted to show that, look at, now the drawbar does pull out. Well, it did. I grabbed it and it just... See, that's hard to do with one hand, but it will come out. But we don't have the room, so let's get this motor out of the way. All right, we got the boom lift that I made. It's a video that I never posted. I did make a video on making this. If you guys want me to post that video, let me know. So we got the boom on, we got the motor ready. Maybe a couple other wires, but I don't even want to disconnect it until we get the motor all hooked up, because if this thing falls forward and I'm just up there by myself, that would suck. So I'm gonna get everything hooked up. Let's get the forklift over here and get it supported, then we'll remove the bolts for the gearbox. All right, here's what we got going on. We got 2 shackles on right here, tied up to the hook and on the boom. And so we're gonna loosen up these 6 bolts right here. And then this ground. Looks like everything else is gonna move up what we need to, but this ground right here has definitely got to go up. So it just goes from there over here to the casting. So we just gotta remove one side of this. Everything else seems like it'll go up. So we'll find out. Alright guys, just getting the bolts out. We got tension up here, and then my forklift does not really hold the hydraulics that long. It'll actually start to drift down over time, which means you gotta work quick because we're gonna lose tension. Oh yeah, look at, we're already wobbly. We got our belt, so I think I'm gonna scoot a little forward here and pull the belts off. Just worried about them getting hung up. So pull these belts off right here and I don't know, see what happens. Okay. And now we can see how wobbly it is. I don't see. It'd be cool to have someone else here to watch if I'm stretching any cables, but we don't. We are just solo with ChatGPT and instructions. So let's go big. Let's go ahead and try to lift it a little. I'll check a little. We'll lift a little, check a little, lift a little, check a little. We're just gonna have to go back and forth being by ourselves. All right, let's go. So far, so good. We're good. Come up a little more. See, that might be enough to get the drawbar out. We'll see. Let's go from there. Let's see if we can finagle the drawbar out now. Come on, baby. Almost was able to just push it back. All right. We'll squeeze it out. We got the drawbar out. Woo! Look at that. All right, guys. I don't know if you can see, but there's 2 of the balls came out of the, see kind of right over there on the side. So 2 of the balls came out. It says in the instructions to look out for that. So, all right, we got both balls out. Put those right here. So I can clean up as much as I can. Yeah, I didn't think that was gonna. Anyway, let's get the new drawbar in. Everything looks clean and good. This baby is fully greased up, and we got balls coming out everywhere. Okay, I'm just gonna hold my hand around it. Alright, we're in. Alright. Woo, we're in. Alright, let's get the motor down. And then we'll put the keeper on and do whatever the process that is. Keeper, TRP, all that, but let's get the motor down little by little. Okay, lining these bolts back up right here. Kind of suck. Alright guys, I had a hell of a time getting these gearbox bolts back in. But when I was doing that, one belt was like loose on one side and then the other belt was like loose on this side, and I just kept wiggling this thing until the belts looked perfect the way they do now, and then the holes lined up. So I guess I was fighting the belt tension. So if you can't line your holes up, then just keep shaking it until the belts look straight, and then they should go in. But that's what I ran into. So they're all loose right now. I'm going to tighten them down, and then we're going to move on to this, and then I think the TSC is over here. So all right, let's go ahead and get these tightened down and get this thing all done up. All right, everyone, so we put the TRP back on, and then I turned on the machine, put it in MDI after homing, and then now I got a tool back in, hit the tool release, put a tool back in, turned it back off, closed the air where it comes in the back, and then now we got to take the TRP back off and put in the retaining ring. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, pull the TRP back out. Alright, so now that there's a tool in there, that thing is totally sucked down, so we can get our ring in there. Alright, so the kit, this is such a disaster up here now. The kit came with a brand new ring. Well, the drawbar came with a brand new ring. Woo! Alright guys, I got the ring in. So it just started going in. I didn't have the camera on it, and I wasn't going to stop. So I'll tell you what I did. I had it pulled apart like this. Like just grabbed one end and grabbed the other end and then pulled it apart. Got one side in. And then I used the screwdriver to hold that side in. And I had to pull this thing up and then just start working around in a circle while holding this side in. And then, I mean, you got to really like spring it apart. So that's what I did. Hold it with screwdriver, really spring it apart, and then go in a circle and work your way around and use the screwdriver to hold it in. Once you get about, halfway through, then it's just in there. Then you know you're home free. All right, stoked to get that in. All right, now that the ring's in, I'm gonna go ahead and put the TRP back. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I don't know why there's threads right here, but I think maybe there might be like some rubber seal that's supposed to go in there. But the nut looks brand new. I mean, the drawbar looked good, but when you turn on and use the TSC, it was like it was making like some type of grinding noise that wasn't good. So I don't know, but I'm gonna put it together for now, and then we'll look into it tomorrow and see if we're gonna use this. Continue to try to use that, or try to use this. I think this is like an older style, but I mean, it's got this tiny little hose to exhaust out, where mine now has this huge hose to exhaust. So I don't know if it's exhaust, but then coolant comes out of it. And then clean this thing up. This thing is totally gross. Sorry, let's go ahead and get the TRP back installed. All right, well, let's just go for our first hit and see what happens, and see if we need to do a orientation on this thing. All right, we're zeroed. We're gonna pull our first tool out. All right, sweet. Pop her back in. All right, she works. Let's check the PSI. Okay, moment of truth. We got the clamp force gauge. We were around 700. I want to say 500 to 700 before with the old drawbar. Let's check where we're at now. Okay, looks like we are at 1400. Supposed to be at 1800 psi drawbar, but hey, I'll take 1400. That's gonna give it, guys. We're gonna be able to rip. Should be more accurate. Should be able to go heavier on cuts without it pulling down. And I think I'm gonna play with the TSC. Let's see if that changed it all. All right, so that's looking good. All right, we got a huge mess. It's late at night. I think we might have to do the spindle orientation and everything tomorrow. But man, we made good progress. We got the new drawbar in. All right, I figured before I call it a night, let's try out the TSC and see what's up. It used to make a crazy growling noise anytime I used it, so let's just see what's going on. That sounds good to me. It's working. Sweet. So it looks like tomorrow we just orientate the spindle and clean this thing up. This thing is disgusting. So is that fan. All right, guys. Have a good. Hello, guys. Good morning. Sunday morning. It's a new day. The shop is a disaster from yesterday. So, from late last night. So I'm gonna go ahead and get everything cleaned up as best I can, and then we gotta orientate the spindle, and then I'm gonna see how much of this I can clean up with some degreaser and just kind of wipe everything down, and then put the cover on, and we'll be back in business. All right, just cleaning up the machine with some degreaser. It's already looking way better, but I just barely got started. Look down in here. This previous owner, let's see what kind of, maybe you guys can guess. This previous owner did not take care of this thing, but let's look at what kind of cuts you think that is. What kind of depth of cut, speed, and feed you think that is on steel? This whole machine was filled with these, and I've been cleaning them out over the years. But yeah, now they're all stuck down in there. Try to get some degreaser down in there, clean this up. Because this stuff does drip down. All this nastiness does drip down into my coolant, which is super messed up. It was in the lights and it was dripping down, and I have the Blazer MC660, which is clear. And so it makes it turn all yellow. Anyway, I just thought it'd be fun. Check out that depth of cut. These look like some pretty aggressive cuts. All right, things are getting a lot cleaner. That's for sure. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it perfect, but this thing is looking a million times better. That aluminum ring was just pitch black, which was pretty crazy. And then right now we're cleaning the fan up. This thing was completely caked. So you can see all that. It's exactly how all the blades looked. So far I've got all the blades, and then look at that difference. This is gonna be huge. The fact that these heatsink fins aren't all caked with stuff will help it dissipate the heat. So that'll be nice. And if I have to work on this thing, it'll be a lot better next time. It's not perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better. All right, back to the fan. Look how rewarding that is. That is pretty satisfying. Still got a little rinsing, but this thing turned out nice. Look at all that. That is now there. It was on here, and now it's there. All right. Just wanted to show some quick progress. All right, that fan is clean. It's gonna make a huge difference. So, fan's all clean. This is all fairly clean. About as clean as I'm gonna get it, I guess. But there's a huge difference between that and then this thing. You couldn't even see it. It was like cake, so thick. And then this is all clean. I think it's ready to put together. Well, all right, ready to put this thing back together. She's cleaned up. I know it's still a little dirty, but she's cleaned up pretty good. So I got the fan back in, totally perfectly clean. We gotta put the cover back on. This panel goes underneath this lip, and then we gotta get the other panel over there. So all right, let's go ahead and put the head back together, and then we can do the spindle orientation. All right, sheet metal's all together. Sweet, look how clean that fan is. The top of the machine looks absolutely atrocious. We're gonna have to clean all this, but all right, all we gotta do is fill up the gearbox oil. There's the number for the gearbox oil. And then, then probably keep cleaning. Can I do this one-handed? I hope so. All right. All right, we got problems. I just noticed all this oil dripping down, and it seems to be coming from right up there. Dude, that looks like we're gonna have to pull the whole cover back off. So I don't know if the tube came out from the gearbox when we filled up that reservoir and now it's all dripping into the machine or what. But that sucks. We just spent all that time putting that cover on, which was pretty hard, and now we gotta figure out what's going on. Well, all right, guys, here's a common mistake. I thought the reservoir up there, well, that little gearbox container up there, I thought that was like you fill it up and then it just takes oil as needed. No, that's not the case. You put a little bit of oil in there and then it just fills up the box and then you're good, and you're supposed to suck out any oil you don't need. So I filled it all the way up to the top, and then it all came out of the overflow out here into the machine. So I'm pretty sure it's all overflowed. We're just gonna have to clean this up and maybe take a peek inside. I mean, yeah, that's crazy. So, all right, lesson learned. You just need to add a little bit of oil to the reservoir on top. Don't completely fill the damn thing up. I'm following CNC Repairman's video, also using ChatGPT. So we've got all the way to the service mode after hitting alarm. And then now we're at the raw data, and then there's the spindle location. So I have an umbrella, so we need the dogs to be parallel this way. So as I turn the dogs, look at, you can see them move. He says that we need to get it all the way to 0. Oop. Okay. I'm gonna line them up on this 1, 2, 3 block. Jog the head down and then line them up right there. Just wanted to show you a quick little clip of what we're doing. I mean, you obviously, if you guys have to do it, you're gonna follow the video that he has. So follow his video, ChatGPT. You can get it figured out. Maybe even hit him up if you get stuck. But on my classic, I was able to figure it out with the video. Then I turned the spindle until it was the number that I saw on there, and then I have this number, and then I put it in to the spindle orientation, and then now we're gonna check it. and I got out of the surface mode by typing debug. So I want to go back into that, so let's get rid of that. Alright, spindle orientate. I'm gonna hit this. Boom. That's what we want. We have an umbrella, so we want it with X. If you have the arm, then it's, I guess it has to be aligned in Y. So let's go do a tool change. MDI, ATC forward. Pow! We're back in business. Well, guys, I hope I was able to help someone out and get out there and make some chips.